In 30 years of carrying a county badge, I learned something that no manual ever taught me. Some curses don't end with death. Some curses follow you through generations. Some curses are passed down like heirlooms, through bloodlines, through families, through the very DNA of those who carry them. I've seen a lot in this job. Deputies vanish from a running patrol car, coffee still warm on the dashboard. A family of 7, 3 generations, all sitting at a dining room table, dead at the exact same second. No wounds, no poison, no explanation. I've sat across from a man whose body was still breathing, but whose soul had been beaten right out of him by a mob. A living ghost, they called him. Walking, talking, but empty inside. And I've seen what happens when you insult the dead. A careless word over a grave, a joke at a funeral, a bulldozer scraping up a forgotten cemetery. The dead don't forget. They don't forgive. And they have all the time in the world to wait. But this case was different. This case involved something I had never encountered before. A curse. A real curse. Passed down through 5 generations. A curse that killed innocent women. A curse that destroyed the lives of everyone it touched. And a ghost. A ghost who had been waiting for over 100 years. The man's name was Aman Bakshi. He was 34 years old, handsome, successful. He owned a small business. He was kind, generous, and well-liked by everyone who knew him. He had a bright future ahead of him. A beautiful fiancée, a loving family. Everything was perfect. Until the wedding. Because every time Aman got engaged, something terrible happened. The woman he loved would die. Horribly. Mysteriously. And Aman would be left alone, heartbroken, wondering what he had done wrong. But Aman didn't know about the curse. He didn't know about the ghost. He didn't know about the woman who had been waiting for him for over 100 years. He was just a man who wanted to get married. He was just a man who wanted to be happy. He was just a man who had no idea that the woman he loved was doomed from the moment she said yes. I first met Aman in the hospital. He had been admitted after a nervous breakdown. He had tried to take his own life. He told the doctors he couldn't bear the pain anymore. He told them he had lost 2 fiancées to the same curse. He told them he was cursed. He told them a ghost was killing the women he loved. The doctors thought he was crazy. They called me. They wanted me to investigate. They thought he was delusional. They were wrong. He wasn't delusional. He was telling the truth. And the truth was far more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. I sat across from Aman in the hospital room. He was pale, thin. His eyes were hollow. He hadn't slept in weeks. He hadn't eaten in days. He was a shell of the man he had once been. He looked at me and said, "You think I'm crazy. Everyone does. They think I'm making it up. They think I killed her. But I didn't. It was her. She did it. She always does it." I asked him who she was. He started to cry. He said, "I don't know. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she wants. She comes every time. Every time I find someone I love, she comes. She takes them away. She kills them. And I can't stop her." I asked him to start from the beginning. He took a deep breath. He told me about the first time, his first love, his first fiancée. Her name was Zara. They had been together for 2 years. They were deeply in love. They had planned a beautiful wedding. Everything was perfect. Until the night before the wedding. Aman said, "I went to her apartment to surprise her. I had a small gift, a necklace, nothing expensive, Just something I thought she would like. I knocked on her door. No answer. I knocked again. Nothing. I called her phone. It went straight to voicemail. I used the spare key. I walked in. The lights were off. The apartment was dark. And then I saw her. She was in the bedroom, on the bed, just lying there. Her eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. She wasn't breathing. She was dead. No wounds, no struggle, no sign of forced entry. She was just dead. The police ruled it a heart attack. She was 27 years old, healthy, fit. No history of heart problems. But the coroner said it was natural causes. I didn't believe it. I knew something else had happened. I knew someone had killed her. I asked him if he saw anyone. He shook his head. He said, "No, but I felt her. I felt her presence. When I walked into the apartment, I felt the cold. It was freezing, unbearably cold. And I heard her, a woman's voice, whispering. She said, 'She's not the one.'" Aman was devastated by Zara's death. He went into therapy. He took medication. He tried to move on. He met someone new. Her name was Priya. She was a teacher, kind, patient, understanding. She knew about Zara. She knew about his trauma. She was willing to be patient with him. She loved him unconditionally. They got engaged. They planned a small, quiet wedding, just family and close friends. Aman said, "I was scared. I was terrified of what might happen. I even thought about calling it off. But Priya convinced me. She said it was just a coincidence. She said Zara's death was a tragic accident. She said I couldn't let fear control my life. So I went through with it. I planned the wedding. I bought the ring. I said yes." And then he stopped. He started shaking. The morning of the wedding, I went to pick her up. She was staying at a hotel with her family. I walked into the lobby. Everything was chaos. Her mother was screaming. Her father was on the phone. The police were everywhere. I ran up to the room. I pushed through the crowd. And there she was, in the bathtub, drowned, in 2 inches of water. 2 inches. How do you drown in 2 inches of water? No drugs, no alcohol, no sign of a struggle. She just slipped under the water and never came back up. Aman broke down. He couldn't continue. I let him cry. I waited. Finally, he spoke again. He said, "I saw her, the same woman, in the reflection of the bathroom mirror. I looked up, and there she was, a woman in a white dress, just standing there, watching me. She smiled. She said, 'She's not the one.' And then she was gone. I screamed. I ran out of the room. I told everyone. But no one believed me. They thought I was crazy. They thought I had killed Priya. But I didn't. I would never hurt her. She was the love of my life. But she died anyway." I left the hospital that day with more questions than answers. I knew Aman was telling the truth. I could see it in his eyes, the pain, the fear, the guilt. He genuinely believed he was cursed. And I was beginning to believe him too. I started digging into Aman's family history. I went back to the county records office. I pulled his family's file. I went back 5 generations. I looked for anything unusual, any deaths, any tragedies, any connections. And then I found it. A wedding that never happened, a groom who died, a bride who was left at the altar. Aman's great-great-grandfather was a man named Aman Bakshi. He was a wealthy landowner in a small village. He had been engaged to a woman named Anjali. She was beautiful, kind, devoted. They were deeply in love. But Vikram's family disapproved. Anjali was from a lower caste. She was not considered suitable for the Bakshi family. Vikram's father forbade the marriage. Vikram refused to listen. He loved Anjali. He would marry her no matter what. His father gave him an ultimatum. Either he married the woman his family chose, or he would be disinherited. Vikram couldn't bear the thought of losing his inheritance. He was weak. He was selfish. He agreed to his father's demand. He broke off the engagement with Anjali. He told her he was sorry. He told her he loved her. But he couldn't marry her. He had to do what was best for his family. Anjali was heartbroken. She couldn't bear the thought of living without Vikram. On the day of Vikram's wedding to his new fiancée, Anjali put on her wedding dress. She walked to the village temple. She stood at the altar and waited for Vikram to come back. She waited for hours. He never came. He had married someone else. Anjali was devastated. She took a knife and killed herself, right there in the temple. But before she died, she made a vow. She said, "I curse you, Vikram Bakshi. I curse your bloodline. For all eternity, every man in your family who tries to marry someone else will be cursed. On the day of the wedding, I will come. I will take the bride. She will die, and you will be left alone. Forever. I will never forgive you. I will never rest." Anjali died that day, but her spirit didn't rest. It lingered. It waited, and it kept its promise. I visited the village where Vikram Bakshi had lived. It was a small place, forgotten by time. The temple was still standing. The altar where Anjali had died was still there. I spoke to the elders. They remembered the story. They told me it was a legend, a curse, something the locals whispered about but never spoke openly. I asked them if they knew how to break the curse. They shook their heads. They said the curse was unbreakable. Anjali had died with such hatred, such pain, such bitterness, that her spirit had become a vengeful force. She would never forgive. She would never let go. She would destroy anyone who got in the way, anyone who tried to marry a Bakshi. I felt sorry for Anjali. She had been wronged. She had been betrayed. She had been left at the altar by the man she loved. Her rage was justified. Her pain was real. And her curse was a reflection of that pain. But I also felt sorry for Aman. He was innocent. He hadn't done anything wrong. He was just a man in love. A man who had lost everything because of his ancestors' sins. I knew I had to help him. I knew I had to find a way to stop the curse. I went back to the hospital. I told Aman what I had found. He listened in silence. When I was done, he said, "So it's my family's fault. My great-great-grandfather ruined her life, and now she's ruining mine." I nodded. I said, "She wants revenge. She wants to hurt you the way she was hurt. She wants you to feel the pain she felt." Aman looked at me. He said, "How do I stop her? How do I make her forgive me?" I told him the truth. "You can't. She died over 100 years ago. She's been holding on to this pain for a lifetime and beyond. She's not going to let go easily. But maybe you can talk to her. Maybe you can apologize. Maybe you can offer her the peace she never found in life." Aman agreed. He said, "I'll talk to her. I'll do whatever it takes. I can't live like this anymore. I can't keep losing the people I love. I have to end this." Aman was released from the hospital. He invited me to his house. He was alone. He had lost everything. His fiancées, his hope, his sanity. He was a broken man. He said, "I want to do it tonight. I want to talk to her. I want to end this." We set up the living room, candles, incense, a photograph of Anjali. We knew she would come. She always came when love was near. And tonight, love was in the air. Aman had brought a small box. Inside was a ring, a simple gold band. He said, "I'm going to propose to her, to Anjali. I'm going to marry her. I'm going to give her what she never got, a wedding, a husband, a life together." I was stunned. I said, "Aman, you can't marry a ghost. She's dead. She's not real. She's a spirit. She's not a person." Aman shook his head. He said, "She is real. She's more real than anyone I've ever known. She's been waiting for over 100 years. She's been waiting for someone to love her, to choose her, to marry her. And I'm going to give that to her. I'm going to break the curse by giving her what she wants." I didn't know what to say. I thought he was crazy. But I also knew that I had no other solutions. So I agreed to help him. At midnight, we stood in the living room. Aman lit the incense. He held the ring in his hand. He spoke aloud. He said, "Anjali, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what my family did to you. I'm sorry for the pain they caused you. I'm sorry for the love they took from you. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I want to marry you. I want to give you the life you never got. I want to love you. Please, Anjali, come to me. Let me marry you. Let me make you happy." The room went cold. So cold, I could see my own breath. The candles flickered. The incense smoke swirled. And then she appeared, a woman, beautiful, wearing a white wedding dress. Her eyes were filled with tears. She looked at Aman. She said, "Do you really mean it? Do you really want to marry me, after everything I've done to you?" Aman nodded. He said, "Yes, I do. I want to marry you. I want to make you happy. I want to give you the love you never got." Anjali started to cry, real tears. She said, "I never thought anyone would say that to me. I never thought anyone would love me again. I've been so angry, so alone, so full of hate. I forgot what it felt like to be loved." Aman reached out his hand. He said, "I love you, Anjali. I love you, and I want to marry you. I want to be with you. I want to give you everything." Anjali took his hand. She said, "I don't want to hurt you anymore. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. I just wanted someone to love me, to choose me, to want me. And you do. You really do." Aman placed the ring on her finger. It was beautiful. The ring glowed with a warm light. Anjali smiled. It was the first time I had seen her smile. She said, "Thank you, Aman. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for choosing me. I've been waiting for this moment for over 100 years, and now I can finally rest." She started to fade. Her body became translucent. She was slowly disappearing. Aman started to cry. He said, "Please don't go. Please stay with me. I love you. I love you so much." Anjali said, "I have to go. My time has come. I've been waiting so long for someone to free me. And you have. You've freed me. I can finally rest. Thank you, Aman. I will never forget you." And then she was gone. The room warmed. The candles went out. The incense was gone. Aman was alone. He looked at the ring. It was on his finger. The ring he had put on Anjali's finger was now on his. She had left it with him. A token, a memory, a symbol of their love. I sat with Aman for a long time. We didn't speak. We just sat there, in the silence, in the aftermath. Finally, Aman said, "She's gone. She's finally gone. I freed her. I broke the curse." I nodded. I said, "You did. You broke the curse. You gave her what she needed. Love, choice, happiness. And she let go." Aman looked at me. He said, "Do you think I did the right thing? Do you think I should have married her?" I didn't know what to say, but I said, "I think you did what you had to do. I think you saved yourself. I think you saved your family. And I think you gave her peace." Aman nodded. He said, "I'll never love anyone again. I can't. I can't go through that pain again. But I'll always remember her. Anjali, the woman who waited 100 years for someone to love her." I left Aman's house that night. The curse was broken. Anjali had finally found peace. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was happening. Something I didn't understand. Something I couldn't explain. I went back to my office. I wrote my report. I closed the file. Case closed. But I kept a copy of Anjali's photograph. A small, faded image of a beautiful woman in a white dress. I keep it in my desk drawer, with all the others. Sometimes when I look at the photograph, I feel her presence, like she's still watching, still waiting, still hoping, for someone to love her, for someone to choose her, for someone to give her the happiness she never got in life. And I remember what Aman said to her, "I love you. I choose you. I will never forget you." Those words broke the curse. Those words set her free. Those words gave her the peace she had been searching for. I think about Anjali sometimes. I think about her pain, her loneliness, her hope. I think about how she held on to her anger for so long, but all she really wanted was to be loved. And I think about Aman. He was a hero. He didn't fight the ghost. He didn't run from the curse. He loved her. He chose her. He freed her. Sometimes the best way to break a curse is not with violence. It's with love. That's what I learned from this case. That's what I carry with me. A lesson about forgiveness, about letting go, about the power of choosing love over hate. Aman moved on with his life. He never married again, but he found peace. He started a charity. He helped people who had been wronged. He helped people who had been forgotten. He gave them a voice, a chance, a future. He said it was his way of honoring Anjali, giving others the love and peace she never found. I asked him once if he regretted it, if he regretted loving a ghost. He looked at me and smiled. He said, "No, I don't regret anything. She taught me what love really means. Love is not about what you get. Love is about what you give." I gave her peace, and in return, she gave me my life. I think about that a lot. About love, about forgiveness, about letting go, about the power of giving someone what they need. The curse was broken. Anjali found peace. Aman found freedom. And I learned something that day, something that changed me, something that made me a better man. I learned that sometimes the best thing you can do is love someone, even if they're a ghost, even if they're a curse, even if they're 100 years old. I closed the file on Aman Bakshi, case closed. But I keep Anjali's photograph in my desk drawer. I keep the story in my heart. And I remember, love is the only thing that can break a curse, the only thing that can heal a broken heart, the only thing that can set a spirit free. That's the truth I learned from this case. That's the truth I carry with me. Every day, every night, every time I knock on a door.